So in the last video, I introduced you guys to my Z31 that hasn't ran in years, and now we're finally getting back to restoring it with hopes of selling it off to a new owner. Now the car used to be running and driving, but it started having some fuel issues, and so one of the first few things we tried was swapping out the old fuel filter with a brand new one. But unfortunately, we're still stuck with a dead car. Hello and welcome, my name is Kevin, and if you guys are new here, welcome to my channel where I like to restore and modify cheap old cars for fun, using junkyard parts and Facebook Marketplace deals. Alright guys, so in today's video we'll be tackling the fuel issue. In the last video we put in a brand new fuel filter, but it still doesn't want to start up, so we might need to drop the tank and put in a brand new fuel pump inside of there. But you know, before any of that, I had a lot of you guys in the comments telling me that I should look at the electrical stuff first, you know. Before I try to throw in a new fuel pump, I should look at the relays and the fuses. So hey, but before we get into any of that, first things first, I gotta clean out the car. Like I said before, I've been using it as storage over the years, so it's just kind of chock full of random parts. And so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and clean it out first, that way I can have some room to really work with. Probably hit you in one of those ASMR montages, like you know how them detailing videos go. I'm gonna go ahead and set y'all up on a tripod and I'm gonna get to work. Yeah. Yep. Over the years, I kind of just, you know, threw all of my parts in here. It's just chock full of random stuff. It's got a whole bunch of parts in here. Thing is, I don't even know where to put any of this stuff at. Let's go and pop this out. Good thing for T-tops. It's one thing I like about this car. Well, I do and I don't. But this will allow me to have more room to work with. However, the other side is locked and I don't have the key. Damn. Yeah, this stuff right here is just gonna go in the trash. I think this was an old part for the Datsun, and random interior pieces. These are the floor mats for my Civic. I was thinking about cleaning it up and dyeing it all black, but sometime in the future, maybe for another video. Check out what I found. I don't even know what the heck this is, but it's like a button. Ejectocito, cuz. Oh man, I underestimated how much crap is in this car. Oh my god, guys, look at what I found. I had a freaking service manual for my 280ZX. This whole time it's just been sitting in the Z. Oh my god, I gotta laminate this stuff. That's gonna be so helpful when I get back to work on my 280ZX. All right, so I got a majority of it all cleaned out. Most of those junk parts are out of the car. Now we have a little bit more space to really get up in there and start working. You know, other than this carpet. I just gotta lift this carpet up and then, you know, get to the fuel pump and all that. We won't really be inside of the trunk anyways. We gotta drop the tank from the bottom. Got the front seats all cleaned out as well. For the fuses and relays, I gotta get underneath here and get to that fuse box over there. But yeah, man, for the most part, she's all cleaned out. Check it out, I just have everything laid out on the floor over here. It's like I'm doing a garage sale right now. Shit, let me know what y'all see. Go ahead and give me an offer. Nah, but as you can see, I've got all this gray interior right here. I was gonna throw it inside of there to convert all of the red to this gray after I clean it up all nicely. Yep, whole bunch of interior parts. Just real quick off camera, I'm gonna go ahead and find a spot to store all of this madness. Yeah. Now that I've got the car cleaned up a little bit, let's go ahead and address the real issues. Try to rip into this car and see what's up with it. What is the problem with the car? Well, first of all, it's not starting up. It is cranking, but what I'm assuming, maybe the fuel pump is acting up a little bit and not sending any fuel into the engine. And why do I think that? Well, before I parked it, as I was driving, the car would kind of cut in and out, you know, sort of lose power. You know, I'm trying to step on the gas pedal, but you know, it's slowly dying on me, eventually fully dying. I did spray some fuel starter into the intake and it did start up, but eventually it dies. So yeah, I'm just purely speculating that there's no fuel really getting into the system, not being able to circulate and whatever. So hey, we're gonna look into that. So since I do think it's just purely the fuel pump, before we even hit that, I had a lot of you guys in the comments tell me to look at the fuses and relays. As with any type of issue that you have with the car, you know, whether it's like a burnt out light or whatever, car's not starting up, look at the damn fuses. Let's get inside the cabin and check that out. Well, first things first, we're gonna look under here underneath the dash where the pedals are. Behind this, there's supposed to be a little kick panel here, but for whatever reason, mine is missing. This is where all of the fuses are gonna be. So really quick, I'm just gonna get up in there and I'm just gonna take a look at the fuel pump fuse to see if it's hopefully not burnt out. Well, actually, I think I would prefer if it was burnt out. That way I could just replace it and then see if it works. I don't have the lid on there, so I don't really have a clue on where that fuse is. I'm gonna have to look it up. I believe it might be this one right here. It should be a 10 amp. And these empty spots, I think that's just for extra fuses. All right, so let me just pull up a diagram real quick, and then I'm actually just gonna check every single fuse, see which ones are blown, see which ones are good. Yeah, that's where we're starting. Fuse box. I believe there's one inside of the engine as well, but that's for a myriad of other things. Over here on the side, it's a little box that contains fusible links. I think this one right here is for the fuel pump. Visibly, I don't really see anything too wrong with it, but I mean, you never know with these things. It could be all burnt up on the inside. So fuse box, fusible link, and then inside of here, there's a EFI relay that basically, you know, tells the computer to send fuel. So after that, once we open up the door to the passenger side, right behind this vent, the relay for the fuel pump is up inside there. We got to get into. It runs all along there to a little connector, and then eventually connects to the fuel pump that's inside of the gas tank. Yep, we're just gonna look at all of that, starting with the fuse box. And I'm gonna go ahead and just link all of the videos. I throw pop-ups of all of the information that I came upon, you know, whenever I was doing my research before really trying to tackle this. You know, thankfully we have the internet, and there's a whole bunch of information out there for us to look at. Even though this is a small niche community, there's been a lot of helpful videos that I looked at that's really helping me out with this, you know, looking at diagnosing and trying to figure out what this fuel issue is. So again, fuel box, fusible links, there's a relay in there, and then the actual fuel pump. Also, we've got I believe this is a fuel pressure regulator, but that's past that point though. I'm thinking I have an issue before that point. So okay, let's pull those fuses. Really, I'm just gonna reach in here with a set of pliers and kind of just pull them off one by one. As I'm looking down here at the fuse box, you know, I have it side by side to a diagram. I have no idea why a whole bunch of the fuses look different than the ones that I'm seeing in the diagram. Also over here on the left side, I found a couple that were burnt out, so I'm gonna go ahead and replace those. But yeah, you know, on the diagram, some of these fuses are a little different. I'm not sure if the previous owner just kind of just swapped them out with whatever fuse they could find at the moment, but the diagram, it doesn't have this one at the top with the 30 amp. A whole bunch of the ones on the right side should all be like 10 amps. Yeah, I don't know. A whole bunch of these are just kind of mismatched and placed wherever. So, but anyways, you know, that fuse that I was thinking that was the fuel pump over there on the right side, that one seems to be good. So I don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and pull some of these bad fuses. I went ahead and looked at the diagram. It didn't really seem like anything important. Like some of them are just for like the lights and whatnot. Like I've got this one that was burnt out right here. This one's burnt out, and the one on the bottom right here is burnt out as well. Yeah, other than that, I think I'm just gonna replace all of these fuses to look exactly like the diagram that I'm looking at, because I'm not really I don't know why this guy's got different amp fuses here, like this one at the top, unless this is just like something specific to the year 86. I don't know. Oh, and just really quick, I'm just gonna pull off one of these fuses and show y'all what it looks like, what a blown fuse looks like basically. It's 15A. And as you can see, here goes the 15A fuse. Visibly, you can see right down in the middle that it's burnt out. It's supposed to be connected like a little archway, but as you can see right down in the middle, it's broken off. If we can compare it to a good fuse, this is what it's supposed to look like. All connected and not burnt out. And also, just as general information, you know, what exactly is a fuse? What is its purpose? Basically, these are used as safety precautions in case, you know, if you accidentally short something out and too much power is going through the whole circuit. This basically protects any of the electronic components within that circuit. And if too much power is being drawn out, this will blow as a fail-safe. That way, it won't damage the actual electrical component. This right here basically completes the circuit, acts as a fail-safe, and yeah, if these go out, then the whole circuit breaks, and that's no bueno. You'll have failing parts. All right, well, stop by O'Reilly's to pick up a few packs of fuses. I got like $20 worth of fuses right here, but pretty ridiculous price for what it is. But I mean, kind of just needed some fuses immediately and just wanted a fresh new batch, you know. If you wanted to do this the cheap way, you could obviously just go to a junkyard and you know, on one of your junkyard runs, just go to a bunch of cars and pull all of these fuses for free. Went ahead and just got me a pack of these real quick, and we're gonna replace all of the ones that are mismatched and burnt out. So okay, and there we are. I've got every single fuse replaced with a brand new one. Well, almost all of them, but yeah, I've got it all looking exactly the same as the diagram that I found online. Hopefully this is how it's supposed to be. Oh, and then that 15 amp on the far right on the top, it's actually very loose. It won't sit in there snug, so I'm not quite sure if that's that'll be an issue. I feel like it would be, but this one right here, it's all wiggly up top. Gotta find a way to secure that in there. But whenever I pulled it out, it was burnt out, so. Okay, I don't know, guys. Like I said, hopefully that's how it's supposed to be. You know, I have the 1986 model, non-turbo T-tops, 2+0, 5-speed. I don't know if like having a different year or having a different trim would play into effect of like how that fuse box would look, but this is literally the only picture that I found online, and all of them kind of match up. So I'm just basing it off of that one right there. So hey, now that I've got all the fuses replaced, I don't know, maybe I'll try firing it up again. We'll see. All right, well, I'm about to hook up the battery up real quick, and right before I do that, I just want to address this right here. This is how it was when I bought the car. They had the battery flipped. So I've got the positive terminal on this side and the negative terminal on the right side. Yeah, I think the battery is supposed to be flipped around where the negative would be right here and the positive would be right here, because right here is a ground. You're supposed to have the negative side grounded right here, which is why this negative wire has this right here, so you can, you know, bolt it up right there. But I think because maybe this positive wire is just a little too short to reach around on that side, got it all the way over here for it to hook up. But anyways, hey, let's hook this up real quick, and I'm just gonna flip the ignition on to the on position just to see if I could hear the fuel pump primer turn on at least. And then I guess we'll try to crank her over. But anyways, I'll go ahead and mention this right here, this box is supposed to be mounted up here, but as you can see, the plastic on it kind of wore down and it's just all broken off. This could also play a factor into why the fuel pump isn't priming, because maybe, I don't know, maybe the wires in here are just a little wonky. And I think I've seen comments about how if they wiggled this around, it would sort of start priming again. Who knows? Anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Get this in there. Yeah. Got the security light going on. I don't hear the ding anymore. Maybe it's just because the battery's low on charge, but anyways, let's go ahead and start this on. Just switch to the on position, and then maybe we can hear something going on in the back in the tank. Yeah, you know what? I don't even hear anything in the back. Nothing's going on back there, so that fuel pump is definitely not priming at all. See if I can try to start it anyways. Let's try to crank it over, and I'm gonna press the gas pedal, try to feed some fuel in there. I don't even hear the fuel pump priming at all, so. Yeah, guys. Yeah, so it's a no-go. Yeah. Before we get to work, I think I'm just gonna move the car up a little bit, kind of in the sun, and I'd like to work in some shade, especially if I'm gonna be underneath on the rear end, so. And to address things, in the last video, you guys saw me use these vehicle dollies. And everyone in the comments kindly let me know that I was using them incorrectly. So, hey, I'm gonna attempt to use these correctly this time around. So, I'm gonna get these wheel dollies underneath the car, and we're gonna scoot the car up a little bit. Also, my concrete, it's a little uneven. It's gonna be a little tough getting it over this lip, especially with these plastic wheels. I'll try to push it myself, and well, yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, so now you guys can see I should have these on correctly. It's you know, it's the wheel sort of sits in this little V. In the previous video I had it like this, and then the wheel will kind of just, you know, roll off. But obviously if it's like this, then there's no way for it to roll off. Oh man, it's tough. This car is very heavy. All right, actually guys, I give up. That thing is not budging at all. That motherfucker weighs like 10 million pounds, I swear to God. I don't know guys, this car is just, it's too damn heavy. I moved my other Datsun with these just fine. You know, it's a smaller car. This thing is a freaking boat. Well, I got the tent up. I mean, it's supposed to provide me shade over here in the rear end, but the sun is kind of already setting on this side, so low-key, there was no point. Unless I get like some type of tarp and cover this up, but you know what, anyways, whatever. All right, so to do this fuel pump job, first things first, we got to get inside the trunk. Let's go ahead and open that up. Let's go ahead and pull this carpet out, thus revealing the fuel pump area. Wow, it's quite rusty. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna need a mask and fully clean this out. That'll be for another time. Anyways, only thing we need to do over here is disconnect the fuel pump and the fuel send wires from the wire harness. Let's see, I want to say this one's for the fuel pump and then this one's for the fuel sender. Generally, when you're doing a fuel pump, you're able to do it from within. For like Hondas and stuff, you can just pull the back seats out and then pull the fuel pump straight out from right here. But with this car, for whatever reason, this area is not big enough for you to just pull that fuel pump out. You've got to drop the entire tank just to get it out. So that is why we are back here. We're gonna unplug this real quick. All right, that's that. All you gotta do is press down on the tab and pull. Oh, this one's right here. Perfect. I'm actually going to undo these 2 screws as well. That way we can get this plate off. And then we're gonna have to push these grommets past that point. So let me grab a screwdriver and we're gonna take these out. All right, now that we have these free, that'll be able to slip right through once we fully drop the tank. Now, next thing we got to do is remove this gas tank cap. Let's go ahead and undo this. Got to basically unhook this part. As you can see here, it's got some little grooves on this ring here. Just get a flathead and then kind of punch it counterclockwise. It'll loosen up and untwist. Now that we're done with this and we're done with the gas cap, now what we're going to focus on is taking off the wheel and jacking the car up so that we can get underneath and drop the tank. By the way, do you guys like these wheels? I don't even know what these are. I think they're, truthfully, I have no clue. Like, I think I got these off a Facebook Market deal. Came up for like maybe 50 bucks or something like that. I think the guy was just getting rid of it because it was taking up space and really didn't need it, especially for how ugly. I mean, I guess it's subjective, but these wheels are low-key kind of ugly. But I don't know, buff it out, give it a nice shine, and I think it'll look smooth. I mean, it seems to fit the Z31 quite nice. By the way, for you Z31 guys, what is your recommendation on where to jack it up from the rear? If I were wanting to get it up real quick on the wheel dollies, I would come over here to the side and just get the floor jack and, you know, jack it up from the usual. But I'm a little reluctant on doing it these days because of just how dry rotted it is over here. It's all rusty and damn near about to break. This is supposed to be where the pinch weld is, but I really don't trust that anymore. I could potentially punch a hole in there. So what I've been doing these days is I've just gone here to the rear end and I've just been jacking it up from the differential. Got a low profile jack here. This is the only spot that it can really reach. I'm just gonna jack it up from the rear differential, just enough to get some jack stands underneath there. And then once it's high enough, I'm gonna get it underneath the subframe and jack it up even higher. Alright, so check it out guys, this is how I suspend my Z31 up in the air. I've got the floor jack here right underneath the rear differential. Just jack it up from this point, and then once it's high enough, I get the jack stands right underneath the sway bar bushings where it connects to the subframe. I'm thinking it's on a spot that's safely supporting all of the weight of the car, and it fits into the grooves of these jack stands very nicely. And then I went ahead and brought out some extra jack stands just to really secure this thing in the air and make sure it does not fall on me. Okay, and so next up we just gotta take off the wheel. I've got my impact here. Go ahead and take out all the lug nuts and then take off the wheel and slide it underneath the car just as another safety precaution. And quick tip, I'm just gonna re-thread the lug nuts so that I don't lose them. And so now that we have the wheel off, we have full visibility of the wheel well, and what we've got to do here is take off all of the plastic shielding that covers up the filler neck of the gas tank. These are simply held in with a bunch of 10mm bolts. So go and grab your 10mm socket and ratchet and take out all of the bolts that you see here. I think it was a total of 4 for this plastic shield. And also you can use a Phillips head screwdriver as well. And now once you get that cover off, we can now see the filler neck and all of the brackets and bolts that are holding it in place. There's going to be 2 brackets and just a couple of bolts to take out. And if I remember correctly, these are going to be a mixture of 10 and 12mm bolts. And then the bracket up top is going to stay in place as it's welded onto the filler neck, but the larger bracket on the bottom will fully come off. And with all of those removed, the filler neck will now be able to drop as we lower the fuel tank. And so the very last thing we gotta do in this area is that we need to disconnect this rubber hose off of the filler neck. This simply provides fresh air into the gas tank, so no fuel should spew out when pulling it off. But it'll also prevent the tank from dropping if it is still connected, so get you a set of pliers to unfasten the hose clamp and then pull the rubber hose off of the fitting. This hose was actually really tough to get off, and I had to use a set of vice grips to really get a hold of it and pull it off of there. But once you finally get it off, we're gonna come around here to the bottom where the gas tank is. The only thing that's holding it up are these 2 straps here, and on the other end you'll find a 14mm bolt and nut that you'll have to take out in order to release these straps. And just a heads up, it's going to be really dirty underneath here, so it'd be wise to wear a mask and try to dust off the area so that you won't have any dirt or debris flying into your face and lungs when you're trying to do your work. But anyways, here we are underneath the car with a 14mm socket. The strap on the left is being held in with a long bolt, and then the strap on the right is held up with a 14mm nut that you'll need a deep socket to reach in and get it loose with. So take those off and the fuel tank will come flying down once the straps are released. However, before that, I'm just going to remove this heat shield for more visibility and to have more room to work with. It's just being held in by 2 bolts, and also one of them has a grounding wire connected to it that I have no idea where it leads to. I'll have to figure that out and replace it later. Now that we have full visibility, I'm gonna go ahead and throw a jack underneath this gas tank and start undoing those bolts. That way it can fully drop. So my floor jack wasn't able to fully raise to the height of the tank, so I just grabbed me a piece of wood as a buffer and to provide better stability. However, I'd recommend using a larger piece of wood, something flat to cover the whole tank, so that you can have better weight distribution instead of this tiny plank that I'm using. Oh, this thing is heavy. But yeah, just be cautious when lowering this tank, especially if you still have fuel inside of there. It'll be way heavier if you do, and if it's off balance, it'll fall off the jack. But yeah, as you can see here, I'm lowering the tank about halfway, just enough to the point where I can reach in with my hand up above the fuel tank. Right. Now that we have it low enough to where we can reach our hand in there, we can pull these wires out. Let's get that out of there. Get those out. Once you lower this down enough to where you have some clearance for your hand, we got to get those fuel lines off of the fittings. You can see here, they're just rubber hoses, so just go ahead and get you a set of pliers and then get the clamps off of the hoses, and then just, you know, try to twist and push the rubber hoses off. Okay, get this one, and this one. Alright, so before taking off all the rubber hoses, just make sure you have like a rag on you or something, because these lines might be filled with gasoline. You don't want none of that spewing onto you whenever you're, pulling them off. Luckily for me, mine were completely dry, simply because the fuel pump wasn't working. I had no fuel up in there. But just try your best to get a grip on it and just, twist and pull. This last hose right here, I was having the most difficult with. Like I said before, I had to use a pair of vice grips just to really pull it off. But yeah, this is the last rubber hose that you got to get off, and then after that you can fully drop the tank. Honestly, I wasn't able to fully get it out, so I went ahead and just dropped my tank and it came off along with it. So you can just simply try that. Fuck, man. Alright, so I believe this fuel tank is ready to be dropped, other than this hose. As I lower it, I'm gonna have to pull that out, but yeah, everything should be undone. Let's go ahead and drop this. Whoa. Oh, god damn it. Oh, and I'm just getting fuel everywhere, huh? Okay. There's still something on there. Well, that was not ideal, but hey, we got the fuel tank out. Seems like as I dropped it, that airline just took itself out, so whatever. I think next time I should have had a bigger piece of wood. Yeah, that line that was sort of holding it in, it kind of just ripped itself off as I lowered it. As you see, it's supposed to connect to the... Alright guys, so before opening this up, I'm just gonna get a wire brush and scrub off the surface, get this a little cleaner. That way we won't have any dust or debris get into the tank when we open it up. Alright, look, hey y'all, I'm out here taking a break. I'm taking a little lunch break. Tell me if I'm crazy or not. My homies think I'm fucking weird for this, because I go to Sonic and I order a plain slush with no syrup. There they go right here. That's the ice water, but I don't know, man. It's just something about it. It's like it's already sweet because they add sugar in it. So what's the point of getting syrup? That right there, that's how you get diabetes. But I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I'm more of a texture eater. That's why you see here I got nachos. I like my shit crunchy. I don't know, am I crazy? Alright guys, so now that we got the top of the tank cleaned off, it's finally time to take off the fuel pump. And they're simply held in with a couple of bolts. I want to say they were 8mm, but you could also just use a Phillips head screwdriver. But yeah, after you get all of the bolts out, you can simply pull the fuel pump straight out. Oh my god. Oh, this thing is so corroded. That's crazy. Yo, this looks disgusting. Jesus Christ. Look at all that corrosion. It's so red from all of the rust. Definitely gonna have to clean this off. I don't even know how. I don't know, just take a wire brush to it? I don't know. And it's stinky too, guys. I got a mask on and I could just barely smell it through that. Yep, and that's how you remove your Z31 fuel pump. This is my first time doing this, by the way, so I hope you guys are learning along with me. It's no wonder this fuel pump wasn't even working. The electrical lines have been stripped and basically dissolved. Just look at all that buildup on the wires. It's all corroded and it's all screwed up on this side too. So what we got to do is disassemble this thing and try to clean it off. We got 3 bolts. One right here, one right here, and one right there. And after we take those 3 off, we gotta disconnect the wires. And then after that, you gotta take off this fuel hosing right here in the middle. Okay, once again, go ahead and grab your socket and ratchet tool. I wanna say these are 10mm bolts, like most of them were. Just go ahead and take those bolts off and you'll be able to separate the housing from each other. And now that we got all the bolts off, it is now loose, but it's still connected because of the fuel hose as well as the electrical lines. So we got to separate those as well. Now to take off these wires, you got to pull on this rubber piece here that just covers up the screw and the nut. Once that is off, you can see the hardware and you simply just got to unscrew it off of there. Oh, okay, I see. It's a fucking screw in there. Man, it's so damn gunked up, I couldn't even tell that was a screw. Alright, so grab your Phillips head screwdriver and you're actually going to need a wrench as well to keep that nut in place while you unscrew the screw. Otherwise the whole thing will just spin and won't fully come out. Screw plus a nut. And there we go, guys. We got both the positive and the negative wires disconnected off of the fuel pump. Only thing left now is to separate that hose off of the fuel pump, and it looks like it's held in by some clamps that we gotta unscrew. However, they were so rusted out, I was unable to get it loose, so I actually just got my wire cutters and snipped them off, which is just fine because we won't be reusing it anyways. Oh, the fucking pump just snapped. Uh-oh. I didn't mean to do that, but you know, sometimes that's just how it is, especially when you're dealing with rusty parts. Oh, god damn it. But there we go, guys. We've got the fuel pump assembly all separated, and now it's just time to clean it up. I am a little worried about how I'm even supposed to restore this, clean this off. Like the wires especially, since the rubber pieces were all corroded. I mean, just look at the wires. It's got all of this buildup and just crust all over it. I wonder if I could just, you know, clean it up with some vinegar and then throw some heat shrink on it. Maybe it'll be okay. Maybe it'll still be conductive. I don't know. I looked online and just getting a replacement for this whole assembly itself, it's super expensive. It's like 300 bucks just for the assembly. The fuel pump itself, it's a different, like you can easily get a replacement for that, but just to get this like housing, yeah, it's pretty expensive. I just got it laid out here. I'm gonna attempt to clean it off. Honestly, I just got some vinegar here, some distilled white vinegar, and then I'm gonna use a toothbrush try to scrape all of this up. I think it's just surface rust, you know, but maybe try to sand it down even. But pretty much the housing is what I'm going to be reusing the housing. This right here is the pump. We're completely getting rid of this, so it doesn't matter how dirty it is. It's just worthless now. As you can see, I've already started a little bit and it seems to get the surface rust off just fine. Now it's still a little bit dirty here and there, but you know, I tried my best to scrape off all of that surface rust. I think it's a lot better than before anyways, but the most important thing is trying to get these wires clean, especially where the contacts are. So yeah, just like how I cleaned off my battery terminal wires, I'm just doing the same thing with this here. Got a toothbrush and some distilled white vinegar, gently scraping it, and eventually it comes back to its original copper color. Right here we could compare the difference. Some of the wires did fray off because I was a little too rough, but that's alright. Yeah, it definitely looks a lot better than its crusty counterpart. Okay, now that we're all done cleaning, it's time to wire up the new fuel pump. I ordered this fuel pump online through Godzilla Raceworks. Their website and many other websites recommended this specific Walbro fuel pump right here, just as a simple replacement, as well as a really good upgrade if you're wanting more power. This kit comes with everything you need in order to do this replacement job. So with this being my first time, I say it was fairly simple and a really straightforward job that, you know, anyone at home could do for themselves. But here we go, we got the new replacement fuel pump itself. It's a lot smaller than the original, but it'll fit up just fine in the original housing. Like I said, this kit comes with everything that you need, and I just got it all laid out here on the table. Not just going down the line, this right here is the replacement fuel pump. Next we got some connector fittings that you would crimp the wires together with. This right here is the pigtail that plugs into the fuel pump, and then we'll have to wire this into the original harness. This right here is the sock that fits onto the bottom of the fuel pump, and it acts as a filter so that nothing weird gets stuck up in there. And lastly, we've got the replacement hose that'll connect the fuel pump to the top of the housing. And here is a comparison from the old to the new fuel pump. And a quick inspection of the new fuel pump. It'll have some plastic covers on the fittings, and we'll just take them off once we're ready to install everything. Alright, so the main thing about this job is we gotta wire in the new fuel pump together. We've got this pigtail with the connector on the end. Red is going to be for the power and black is for negative. Now the wires on the original housing, the black and white wire is going to be power, and the flat black is for ground. So we simply wire power to power and ground to ground. So be sure to inspect the wires closely and get the orientation correct. This wire that I'm holding onto is the power, which we will connect to the red. But real quick though, I'm just going to reassemble everything back together so I can mock up the length of the wires that I need to cut them down to, as well as that fuel hose. They're just a bit too long, so we'll have to cut them down in order for this entire thing to fit inside of the housing. And so as an example, this is pretty much how it's going to look inside of the fuel tank. The sock is going to be a little cramped up in there, but that's alright. Alright guys, so right here I was trying to be fancy with it and I wanted to solder the wires together. This didn't really turn out so well for me because I just clumped it up. It just looked horrible and I wasn't able to get a shrink wrap up and over it. And so I just ended up cutting it in half once again and connected it with this crimp connector, like how it was originally intended to be. So simply cut the two wires and strip off the ends on both of them. Slide a heat shrink wrap over before using that connector to crimp these wires together. And then just use a heat gun on the shrink wrap. Here's a cleaner example of me connecting the two ground wires together. Alright, and there we are. We got it all wired up correctly, and all you gotta do is just plug it into the fuel pump. And last but not least, I'm just gonna secure this new fuel pump to the housing with some worm clamps. That way it won't be moving about in the fuel tank. But there you go guys, that's how you take out your fuel pump and clean it up and wire in a brand new one. All we gotta do now is just throw it inside of the fuel tank and fit everything back together. But now that we're done with that whole process, we're gonna move along to the fuel tank itself. I'm actually gonna empty it out and try to clean the insides a little bit. For how long the car's been sitting, I want to get rid of all of that old gas, and it'll make the fuel tank a lot lighter once we try to put it back in the car. So real quick, I'm just gonna take out this fuel sending unit. Same process as a fuel pump. You just gotta unbolt it and then you pull it straight out. There's gonna be a little slot right in the middle of this metal piece right here. You can just slip a little tool or piece of wire through here and then yank on it to get it loose. I actually used a coat wire hanger to get it out. And because it was all rusty inside, I had to use quite a bit of force just to yank it out. So yeah, really pull on that thing. Now what this part does is it utilizes a float inside of the gas tank. And this is what tells you how much gas you have inside of your fuel tank on the speedometer. However, mine wasn't working before, but I'm not even gonna bother trying to fix it since it's not really necessary. I'm just more focused on trying to get the car started. But anyways, I've got myself here a pump that I bought from Harbor Freight. I'm just gonna use this to siphon out all of the gas into a container. It's really simple. You just got two hoses, one that goes into the gas tank and one that goes into a canister, and then a pump right in the middle you just squeeze. Yeah guys, here's what the old gas was looking like. I'm surprised it wasn't red from all of the rust inside of it. Just got a bottle of Gamer Pee right here. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. And so after some time, I've got a majority of the old gasoline out into some buckets. If you look at the bottom of the bucket, you can tell that there's some like sediments down there, and we definitely don't want none of that getting sucked up into the fuel lines. And now that we're at a point where I've got most of the gasoline out with the siphon, I'm actually going to take off this filler neck. That way I can actually pick the fuel tank up and just pour out the rest of the gasoline out.
Yo, Luca, what the f is...
So finally, we've got the last bit of gasoline out of the fuel tank. We can finally take a look inside and see how dirty it is. After having the car sit for several years, you can see that there's some sediment bits, just a bunch of crap in there that's built up. Yeah, we definitely want to clean that out. So I'm gonna just reach up in there and scoop it out with my hands. Guys, look at what was sitting inside of my fuel tank. Nah, that's no good. Yeah, we don't want any of that to clog up the fuel lines. I think it's basically the crystallization of the old gas, just from letting it sit and combined with the rust. But thankfully my hands are small enough to where I could reach in and just scoop it up clean. Maybe you guys could get a vacuum up in there or just try to shake it and pour it out. And so after shoveling out all that crap using my hands, I'm just gonna go in with some vinegar and a wire brush and try to scrape the sidewalls clean. You know, get whatever leftover rust is sitting inside of the gas tank. And after that, I tried washing it out with some, just regular water. Just trying to really get it nice and clean, get all that dirt out of there. But after you do that, I think you're supposed to coat the inside with some type of protective layer. I didn't have anything on me, so I just let the damn thing dry overnight, and surprise, surprise, the surface rust re-emerged. But guys, whatever. I think I saw a comment saying you could use a little bit of 2-stroke oil and just swish that around and it'll be fine enough to just burn off. But anyways, here's how the inside looks with all of that crap out of there. Definitely looks way better. Okay, here's how it looks the next day after letting it dry overnight. Like I said before, all that surface rust came back. And then I also put the baffle back into place. This is just held in by some tabs. This plastic piece right here, it helps prevent the gasoline from sloshing around as you're driving. And so finally, it's time to put the new fuel pump back in, as well as the fuel sending unit. Alright, so right here, I was having some issues of getting the cap back onto the fuel sending unit. It seems that that metal piece that we used to pull it out from the tank is sitting higher than it originally was, which is preventing me from putting the cap back on there flush. I wasn't able to push it down any further, and actually while I was messing with it, the whole damn thing just kind of fell apart on me, so I decided to just snip the wires and try to get it out of there. I mean, the thing wasn't working beforehand anyways. I might just have to address this later into the future and then try to clean it up and rewire it all. But anyway, since I have this out here, I'm just going to show you guys how it's assembled. That way you can take it apart and clean it yourselves. But essentially it's all held together with this metal rod in the middle. You just got to twist off the cap and then get that float to slide out. Once it's out, you twist the top off and then pull the metal rod through the slit. I feel like the reason why mine wasn't working is because the float probably got stuck because of how rusty the sidewalls were. And so I guess once you clean that up with maybe some sandpaper or something, it'll freely slide up and down as the gasoline level raises or lowers. And also I think the wire connections were a little too rusty and corroded, so maybe after cleaning that up as well, my fuel gauge would start working then. But anyways guys, we got everything put back together. All we gotta do now is put the fuel tank back up into the car. So from here on out, it's pretty straightforward. You just do everything in reverse of how we took it out. I've got here a much larger wood plank, and I'm just gonna jack it up with 2 of my floor jacks. Okay, so I've got it raised up just enough to where I can put the rubber hoses back on. They're all in order, so it shouldn't be confusing when trying to put these back together. Also, this heat shield right here was in my way. It was preventing me from raising the tank any higher, so I just took it off. Alright, and lastly guys, don't forget to plug the wires back into the main harness. I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the fuel pump, but I'm just gonna leave the fuel sending wire unplugged since I'm not using it anyways. Alright, we got a new fuel pump in there, got some gasoline up in there. Only thing I gotta do now is hook up the battery and we'll try to fire it up. Alright guys, moment of truth. Hopefully it doesn't catch up in flames. And after like 4 or 5 years, the thing is finally up and running. I just need a goddamn fuel pump. Hey, I'm gonna let it run just for a few seconds. I'm gonna check the rear end to make sure there's no leaks or anything. Check up here. I don't really see any leaks over there with the fuel filter. I gotta make sure there's no leaks under here. I don't see any visible leaks, but it is smoking just a little bit. Maybe it's just trying to burn off all of that, all of the bad fumes or whatever, but whew. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it off now. I don't want it running for too long because I haven't done an oil change in a while, so yeah. Oh my god, dude. Oh, that is unbelievable. I can't believe it was just a fuel pump. Oh, thank god. I'm finally done with that now. Oh, hey, for its first start after like 4 years or something like that, it did sound pretty rough, but I'm happy to know that it starts up. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start her back up and try to move this forward a little bit. Maybe try to unlock this wheel. Hopefully that'll break it off. Oh guys, you do not know how freaking happy I am to know that this thing is up and running now. It still has a myriad of things that I got to touch up on, but hey, finally got it started, finally got it running. All I needed was a fuel pump. Really glad that I got that over with. Now that I've done that, I feel confident of being able to drop any type of gas tank and just changing out a fuel pump on whatever car that I got, whether it's the Civic, the Datsun, the RSX. After going through that, that's just, oh, it's a lot of weight off my shoulder now that I know how to do it. So plans for this now that it's up and running, I'm just gonna completely shave it. I'm gonna just give it a really quick paint job, and hopefully I'll see whoever wants it. I'm gonna sell it off for cheap, but yeah, there's a lot of things I gotta do. I gotta paint job, I gotta fix the brakes, fix the suspension, and just in general clean it up. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I mean, if you guys own a Z31 and it's not starting up, take a look at the fuel pump, because chances are, you know, it's a 40-year-old car. So yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Next time I'm probably gonna work on the RSX, so I'll see you next time. Peace.